Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to Meat Cranium Barbecue and Review. A couple months ago, I had somebody comment in one of my comment sections if I could settle an argument between he and his brother. That argument was, is it better to use wet wood chips or dry wood chips? Probably about 4 or 5 months ago, maybe even a year ago, I watched a video by Cookout Coach where he actually soaked a whole log of wood for like a day or two. He cut it just a very bare, not even like an 1/8 of an inch, just the very surface of the wood was wet, but the whole inside was dry. So it's kind of no point to soak a log or even a chunk of wood, because the water really doesn't penetrate but just the surface. However, when he said if I could do wood chips, I was like, you know what? Wood chips are pretty thin and you could probably get full soakage through a wood chip. So here's a little montage of what I did. First off, the wood chips I'm using are Cowboy pecan wood chips. So what I did is I grabbed myself the biggest mason jar that I could find, and I did 1 cup of wood chips, 1 heaping cup that is of wood chips into a mason jar. I filled the mason jar all the way to the top with water so that it could get full soakage of these wood chips. So here it is the next day. This is what we got here. All the chips, almost all the chips right here have fallen all the way down here to the bottom. Have a few that are still floating up at the top. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna light these coals. I'm gonna light probably about 3/4 of a chimney of coals, and this is how I have everything set up. So since I have 2 Weber kettles, I'm going to be able to do this test probably pretty good. So I have a Weber basket right here, so 304 stainless steel basket right here. I'm going to put some hot coals on top, let it start burning pretty good, then I'm going to throw the wood chips on. This side over here is going to be where I'm going to put the wet wood chips, and then this one over here is where I'm going to put the dry wood chips over in this one right here. Okay, so I got probably about the same amount of coals. I didn't really measure it out. It really doesn't matter that much. I'm going to use 1 heaping cup of dry wood chips onto the top here. I'm going to close the lids, and I want to see, and I'm going to do probably like a time lapse recording and see which one burns better. All right, so for years I thought that wet wood chips is probably the way to go because I seen other people do it, but then I realized that you should just go with dry wood chips. It has a cleaner burn, and then like the wet wood chips, it might smolder. So I think this could be the same thing here. Even though their chips are thinner, I still think it's going to get a better clean burn with dry wood chips versus wet wood chips. Anyhow, let's get started. Okay, so while you're enjoying this time-lapse video, let's quick talk about what's going on. So as soon as I put, of course, the dry wood chips down, you got an immediate smoke, instantaneous smoke. It's starting to, see, you see it right here, see the smoke right here? It's starting to turn that, like that bluish color that you want to see. That's a nice clean smoke. It's starting to turn that color. It started off being kind of white and kind of grayish color, but then it clearing up to a nice blue color. Over here with the wet wood chips, I don't know about you, but that looks kind of grayish. However, it's taken longer for the smoke to come out, and it never really had like a big billowing smoke. It had kind of like a consistent thin smoke to it. I guess it's all a matter of opinion right now, but wet wood chips don't seem to be doing too bad right now. It takes longer for it to light. It probably drops the temperature of your pit automatically because you're putting wet stuff onto the hot coals, and of course the water is probably going to tame out the charcoals. But for right now, the wet wood chip seems to be doing, to me, a little bit better. And of course the dry wood chips over here it's going to burn out quicker. But you do have a nice clean burn on the dry wood chips right now. It's a nice clean burn. See that right there? Bam! Nice clean burn. So that's what it's all about. It's about clean burn. And over here, you can tell the difference between the colors of the smokes. The wet wood chip seems to be burning pretty good right now. So, all right, just going to keep on looking at the time lapse and see what happens. right, so after a few minutes, the dry wood chips is burning clean right here, and the wet wood chips looks like it has a lot more smoke coming out, and it looks like to be a dirty burn. It looks like it's gray. Looks like that's a dirty burn. It's smoldering. It's kind of what I was thinking it was going to do. The wet wood chips started off better at the beginning, but now it's starting to smolder and it's starting to have a dirty burn. As where the dry wood chips over here, that's a clean burn right there, y'all. That's a thin blue smoke right there. That's what you want to see. Okay, so I think I got a clear winner here. It's been about a half hour, 35 minutes. Still have wood chips in here. Got a thin blue smoke. Inside the dry wood chips, those are still burning. And over here, still have the wet wood chips, and you have a gray, dirty smoke. I think we have a clear winner. Final thoughts coming up. Some promise out of the wet wood chips. It started off pretty good, like a little bit lower smoke, and it started off kind of blue, kind of clean, but then now it's still burning dirty. This is about probably 40 minutes later, 45 minutes later. It's still burning a gray, dirty smoke, as where the dry one, it's still burning a nice blue thin smoke. If not, you can't really see it at all. That's what you're looking for. So the winner of this contest here is dry wood chips. Use dry chunks, use dry logs, use dry chips. Don't soak your chips. I used to do it. I'm guilty of it. However, I have transitioned into using basically just dry everything. It's the way to go. You get a better burn. The wood chips actually caught fire quicker, smoldered, had a little bit more of a dirty burn at the beginning, but cleared up almost within 5 minutes. It cleared up to being a nice thin blue smoke, as where the wet wood chips, completely opposite. It started off being kind of thin, kind of clean, and then now it's just been burning dirty the whole time, a gray, dirty smoke, which you do not want to see. So anyhow, that's the test. Thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe. I'll see you next week. Ciao.